Hello and welcome back to Live, Laugh, Stuck. This is Jackie. What?
Sorry. I just felt like screaming.
Fair enough. I guess this is you know what? Fucking keep it. Fucking keep it. This is, I think that kind of sets the tone for how this episode is going to go. Moosie is here. If you couldn't tell. This is the Moosielogues. We have read Candy Epilogue 4. And we have opinions about it.
Yeah. And there's still so much more epilogues to read.
There's still so much more epilogues to read. I guess we'll just go with it. Candy Epilogue 4 is chapters 14...
16 through 21.
16 through 21, right. I was reading the meat, and I'm like, that's not right. It's because it isn't. It's because it isn't, because I was reading your list of meat chapters. Okay, let's,
Where do we begin?
Right, like, I just want to give, like, a little context that we were gonna record, like, last week, but I got so annoyed at, like, things that had been going on, that day. It's, like, nothing big, it's just, like, when a lot of, like, little annoying things, like, stack on top of each other, it just, like, makes you grumpy, makes me grumpy. I'm a grumpy person. I am Aaron Game Grumps. But and then like I finished reading the epilogues and was writing my notes, and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm gonna bring such a bad energy to this. I actually can't do this today. I don't know, like.
I mean, I wrote a little rant in the middle of reading this area.
I'm really glad you have, because I know that I bring that kind of intense negative energy a lot of the time, even though I try not to. I try to be a chill person for the podcast. So I'm glad that you wrote an angry rant. So it's not just me. So we'll just, I
could just like kind of give my thoughts overall at this point of the epilogues, if we want to start there.
Like before you started reading this section, or just like your general thought?
So after reading this section, just...
Yeah.
I mean, my initial thought was like, this feels very much like someone who wanted to ruin Homestuck. And I'm not even like attached to the characters or anything. This just feels like an intentional fuck you.
Yeah, I think... So every time I try to say what the meat and candy epilogues are about, because they're about different things, I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing. And I feel like that is because there has been such contradictory information from the people who wrote this about what these epilogues are supposed to mean. They kind of just said what they were supposed to mean for whatever like fit that moment in time. But yeah, the epilogues in general take reader hostile to a new level. And I think the best summary of what Candy is supposed to be is all the things that it's wish fulfillment gone wrong, right?
Yeah.
This is the genie's wish. That is what the monkey paw's wish, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess I can see it that way.
I just don't think that's true. I just don't think anyone wanted any of this, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say like it's a reflection of shipping, and then saying like, we're gonna take this to an extreme. You want shipping? We're gonna give you shipping so that you hate everything now.
It's just like, yeah, it's none of the ships that anyone wanted, right? Like, so I don't know. It is a lot. It is a lot. They sure think they're saying something with this, while also saying they're not saying anything, but they're saying something and they're not.
Yeah. I also had put in my notes that it just feels like maybe the authors all chose a character and did some roleplay and was like, okay, this is our story now. And someone chose, I'm going to be the most annoying Jane possible, or I'm going to be the most annoying this possible. And then they just like took their roleplay dialogue from like in my mind, I still think of Yahoo chat rooms as roleplay areas. But
Yeah.
You know, make that the whole narrative, no editing, no reworking, just.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it.
Sure.
Let's talk about what the fuck happens in this. So, chapter 16, John is talking to Terezi about getting married. He had invited her to the wedding and she didn't show up. For her, that was literally yesterday. For him, it had been 6 months. There's a time difference between them.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently Terezi has ghosted basically everyone except for John. Did Jade make a joke about having a doggy dick at her wedding, which Terezi understood and John didn't? I don't know why Terezi understood if she's been ghosting basically everyone. She shouldn't have any context for it, but she does, whatever. And I think there's some implication that John was abstinent until marriage. And I think that's funny. Partially because, like, I have, like, vaguely headcanoned him as ace at some points, so I think it would just be funny. He's like, okay, well, I don't have any awareness of myself, but it's normal not to do sex before marriage, and now it is marriage time, and the sex happens, and there is a baby now, which is what you do when you are married.
It was already like, oh, they're married now. Oh, Roxy's pregnant now. Like what Karkat told Terezi that Jane is dating Jake and Gamzee.
Yeah.
And I just wrote, and now she's having sex with Gamzee.
Yeah.
Or someone, I don't know if that was a quote or just me saying that.
Yeah, either, you know? Yeah, and I do want to say, so, listen, you guys know me. I don't have a problem with, like, taboo shit, right? But I think people do not recognize that Gamzee is 17. This takes place 1 year after the epilogue started, in which he was taken from being in a fridge when he was 16 in human years equivalent.
Yeah.
He is 17 now, and Jane is 24 now.
I didn't even, like, think about that, but also I'm just kind of grossed out by the idea of Gamzee having any sex.
Right, and that's kind of what the writers are banking on for the most part. It's like, Homestuck just like this. Homestuck has taboo stuff in it. I'm sorry that if you think no fiction should have taboo stuff in it, you shouldn't be reading Homestuck. That's what the comic is. And sometimes it does it because whatever, sometimes it does it specifically to piss people off. This one, they just kind of slid it under there because they thought it would be like a really gross thing to happen, not taking into account the ages. I know I'm like talking a lot for the authors in this, and I don't have like facts to back it up. But like, because they do not make a point of his age, it is just supposed to be gross because it is Gamzee. We are supposed to think of Gamzee as the person who, like, went off and did a bunch of murders that happened in a retcon timeline. We are supposed to think of Gamzee as all the things that, like, hasn't happened. And we are not supposed to think about Gamzee as a 17-year-old who is now canonically being groomed, right? Like, because we're not supposed to have that sort of sympathy for Gamzee. So we're supposed to, like, make fun of, like, everything he brings up as reasons he is like this, because, like, on the one hand, like, yeah, you can't just, like, use your bad experiences as a crutch to have been a bad person, but also, like, it is making fun of fans who are like, he did have these bad things that happened to him, and no one talks about the fact that he is a 17-year-old, like, canonically. I think some people try to say that he raised Caliborn and Calliope, and so there's some weird time stuff going on there, so he might be older, but that's never said in canon anywhere as far as I remember. Maybe it's something that happens later in the epilogues that I just don't remember, but as of right now, as far as anyone knows, he is about 17 in human years.
Yeah, and I don't remember what all happened to the not out of the... Well, I guess he was just in the fridge the entire time. Yeah. It's like, I don't remember what he did after the fridge. It was like, well, he was in the fridge. He was just clearly in the fridge
the whole time. Yeah, yeah. So he didn't get out and do the game over murder stuff that he did. Anyway, I just want to point that out because I feel like I didn't catch it the first time I read it. And then, like, this time reading it, I knew that this was going to happen, but I thought it was a bigger time skip. But no, it's about a year after the prologue happens. And Terezi finally talked to Karkat and Dave just to get, as you said, Dave took a picture of something and John doesn't want to know what it is.
Yeah, I was lost on what that even is supposed to mean.
Yeah, because it was about, like, Jane and Gamzee? It was just something gross.
I think so.
It was just probably them doing some really gross PDA.
Yeah. John also keeps getting called xenophobic, but I don't know if that's going to go anywhere.
I think that this was them black flirting. I think John did do kind of like a xenophobic comment, and then Terezi called him out, and then it turned to black flirting. I don't think that it's, I don't know. I could be misremembering. I think that this is just what it is, right? Jade continues to blindly fuck up Dave Cat. I forget exactly what she did in this for me to warrant this comment, but that's the whole Candy Epilogues Jade and the prologue Jade.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the comment, like, this is some meta commentary about some fans misogynistically complaining about girls getting in the way of their yaoi ship, but that is much less of an issue in primarily queer fandoms, and it's almost the opposite in Homestuck. Homestuck does not have the issue, like, by and large, of fans complaining about girls getting in the way of the yaoi ship. Often they have a complaint about, like, boys getting in the way of their yuri ship. So it feels weird to have Jade be so shit with people, so shit with relationships, so shit at, like, figuring out cues between Karkat and Dave that she has had, like, 7 years or whatever to figure out. And, like, she is just, like, she sucks. Like, she sucks in this, right? She sucks without meaning to suck, because she has no fucking self-awareness and does not listen to what anyone has to say, and no one is calling her out about it as well, right? That is also kind of what, like, this whole epilogue is what if no one called each other out about how their friends were doing fucked up shit? Which, God, I could just make comments. Is there going to
be more accountability in the meat timeline?
I'd have to read it again. I don't really think so. I just think that it's, I don't know. Maybe that's not, like, the point of this, but I think it is a big takeaway from this for me, at least, is that there is no, like, no one tries to hold anyone accountable. And I could make some snide comments on how 2019 fandom worked with people just doing whatever. It's like, well, they're my friends, so whatever. It's funny.
Yeah. I have chapter 17 after that. I don't have a ton of notes on 16.
Oh, yeah. I just have to do a little complaint about, like, John's mention that he thought Vriska and Terezi were Black Rom, which I guess he wasn't around for them talking about how they were Morales at the end of, like, they have an explicit conversation about how we're such good Morales. And so, like, no, I'm not sure they might have, like, potentially been Black Rom, but I don't know, like, in the past, but definitely not at the end of Homestuck. But I do think it's very funny that Terezi had to explain different types of Black Rom to John so he could start to understand that she was flirting with him.
I didn't even know she was flirting with him.
Yeah, that's fine. It's been a lot. Like, I don't think I only know this just because I've read the epilogues, but I think, like, I don't know. I think that point is supposed to make it more obvious that they're flirting, but
maybe that makes it a little more sense on why John keeps feeling weird about texting Terezi and wanting to hide that. Because I was just like, they're just talking.
yeah, because he doesn't understand that he is also wanting to flirt back with Terezi because he's dumb about his emotions forever. Monogamous people are... chapter 17. Oh, I'm glad you put 3 months later, because, like, for a second, I did not fucking understand where the time skip went. I think I didn't catch that there was a time skip until chapter 18 or 19 or something. So...
yeah. It's jumping all over the place, because what... pacing, I guess? I don't know.
yeah, that is the Candy Epilogues, is things keep going forward. John is with Rose and Kanaya and Roxy. I still can't get over that they named their kid Vriska. It is such a wild move.
I don't know if they also called John xenophobic for questioning that, or just, like, I don't know, everyone's kind of like, what the fuck, John?
Yeah, no, this is Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. Like, that is what these three girls are doing, and it's not intentional, right? But that is definitely the vibe of this entire conversation. Of John's like, this is weird, and everyone's like, no, it's not. And the reader is like, no, that's objectively weird. And, and I guess grubs don't have ears yet.
Also, like, why is she breastfeeding a grub? That doesn't...
It doesn't make sense. It is just so they could put breastfeeding in the tag and have breastfeeding in here. Just you wait about breastfeeding, though. You keep that pinned. Great. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why trolls would need milk or like, because
insects they're not mammals.
right, they're not mammals. They don't need milk. And like species that don't like need milk, like we as a species tend to can get sick from milk. Like we can be lactose intolerant because like it is not the norm to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
or like just any non-mammal tends to eat whatever's in the egg because that's the nutrients.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know where it's going with that.
Me being picky of like, if you're gonna go there, put some effort into the biology, right in your Bible, your like design Bible, what the biology is, so you can be consistent.
The fandom has made so many good like headcanons and like world building about trolls and how trolls would function. The most interesting thing we get here is they don't have ears yet.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but whatever. Sure, they don't have ears yet. But yeah, no, it makes no sense that she can be breastfed except for the fact that they want to put this is gross out. They're trying to gross you out. John is a weak man for being grossed out by the pregnancy stuff. Fucking man up, John. Listen to them talk about pregnancy. Your wife is so pregnant. You need to understand this. And like, you're going to be with the Brooke. You need to understand pregnancy stuff. Mm-hmm. That is the most annoyed that I've been at John this whole epilogue.
Also, just their name is going to be Harry Anderson Egbert is what he said, or she said, what Roxy said.
Yeah, because John wanted that as the name, which like, whatever. That's not the same as naming your kid after your ex.
Yeah, but it's still all cringe, man.
It's still
and
cringe.
I'm supposed to be a post-cringe millennial. I'm supposed to embrace the cringe.
It's very Harry Potter epilogue cringe, you know? Also, Kanaya thought that babies were, like, human babies were born by eating their way out of the womb. And they're like, I don't know what movie they were watching to even suggest that. It was a Twilight movie, obviously. I don't know if Twilight existed, like, was released by the time Dirk's Earth was destroyed, since that happened a few years later than it did for the Beta Kid Earth. But, like, it's the Twilight movie.
Okay, I never watched the Twilight. I've seen the first Twilight movie, I think.
Oh, yeah, in the last book, okay, so it doesn't eat its way out of the womb, but Edward, because Bella is a vampire after she gets pregnant, like she gets turned into a vampire, and so the only thing, like they have to do a C-section, but like normal knives and stuff don't work on vampires, so Edward has to rip open her womb with his teeth.
Great.
Yeah.
Side note, so my biological dad and then my 6 siblings on that side are all Mormon, and I don't know them very super well, but I know that my sisters were obsessed with Twilight. And I'm like, what?
I mean, it's the Mormon book, right? It's the Mormon series. There's been a video I've been meaning to watch that's like a ex-Mormon explains Twilight, or someone like points out all the Mormon stuff in the Twilight series, and I think that would be neat because it's wild.
Yeah, and then the next note I have is just that Rose says that Vriska not deleted Lord English.
Deleted him from existence.
Yeah, just TikTok speak that he got deleted. And John is like, how do you know that? Like, and then starts kind of having an existential crisis. Yeah,
again, because there is no reason Rose should think that, because like John knows that like about a year ago, Rose was like, hey, you need to go defeat Lord English. And now Rose is like, oh, he's dead, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Again, gaslight gatekeep girl boss. And,
it's like they become the Stepford wives in a way, that they've been like reprogrammed. Or I also put like, is everyone an AI chatbot now?
Yeah, right. Cause like, so, whenever like we first switched to Candy, like Rose woke up from like being really sick and like suddenly stopped caring about things, right? About all the existential threats. And that is what several other characters have mentioned, that like suddenly they just didn't really care about stuff, right? Because they are no longer part of the main narrative. They're no longer relevant to canon. And so they don't have to care about that stuff anymore. Yeah, but John did not have that same disconnect, right? So they are more like casual about like, well, I mean, obviously Lord English was defeated, like whatever. Vriska died doing it. She's a hero, whatever. Oh my god, they are just making fun of the Harry Potter epilogue name.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, are you aware of the Harry Potter epilogue names?
Is that just the names from like the very end of the last book where like, I don't remember exactly what the names are, but just like, oh, we named these after everyone we know.
Yeah, so Albus Severus Potter was a big one, and it's like, imagine being abused by a guy for so many years of your life, but you found out that he saved you because and was still an asshole to you, but technically saved you because he had a crush, like an unrequited crush on your mom
on
for
your
years,
Yeah.
and you decide to name your kid after him because he did a heroic thing at the very end. That's what they're doing with Vriska, is like, imagine the most awful person you know, like that you like kind of had a crush on for a while, but you think died heroically, and so you're gonna name your kid after like just one of the most awful people. To be clear, I'm a Vriska liker, but I mean that's supposed to be the vibe. And then the Harry Anderson, Egbert, I forget what the other names in the Harry Potter epilogues were. Albus Severus Potter is just like the big one, right?
Yeah.
But they were all like named after
people.
That's what they're doing. They're making fun of that, and it's very dumb.
Yeah.
It's equally dumb.
This is also where like John is just thinking like no one pushes, well, I guess they're kind of pushing back on him, being like, well, of course she's named Vriska. But then he's also thinking like, well, Roxy doesn't, she just goes along with whatever he wants, and he says, all I want is for her to want something different.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's like, in that way also kind of Stepford Wivesy, like everyone just got reprogrammed or something.
Yes. I want you to remember this moment for much later.
Oh, good. They're all chatbots.
Yeah, that's the secret of the epilogues, is they're actually all chatbots.
John's just in a coma. He dreamt it all.
Yeah. There have actually been people who say that Dirk and a character I can't name for spoiler reasons actually just made fanfics, just the most fucked up fanfics they could, and like shared it. And everyone's like, what the fuck is this? That the epilogues are just Dirk and like someone else's fanfic. And I think that's my favorite explanation for the epilogues.
Sure.
Dirk would write meat. He would write meat fanfic. Yeah, and I said Dirk should have stayed around to help John through his through this existential, vaguely aware of the narrative, but not fixed by his choice shit. And then they should have kissed. Yeah, and Terezi's the only one still in the narrative that he can talk to, so he has to go to Terezi. And like Terezi is like they're doing like the black flirting thing, even if John isn't like consciously aware of that's what's happening. But that's kind of canon with like End of Homestuck, where they were doing black flirting, but John wasn't willing to accept it, even if other people noticed. But now she is also like his lifeline to reality. Like she is the grounding force to him, because everyone else is so fucking weird about it.
Yeah.
And now we're on to a section I'm so sure you're excited for, chapter 18. Jane, Gamzee, Jake, and Jade.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have way more to say in this than I do, which is so funny. So I'm going to let you take it.
Sure. I'm just going to read my notes as I go. So, first note is back to politics, and then like the colon pipe face where it's just two eyes and like a straight line for the mouth.
Yeah.
Gamzee gives Jane a pin from his codpiece. Colon pipe. I copy-pasted some of Gamzee's talking about how the human man is trying to keep my people down and such. So I'm like, okay, yeah, he's aware of societal oppression. This is before it got to like, oh, this was just a ploy to like start fucking. It's like, oh, bringing up racism and oppression just to get laid in like a hate sex thing. Okay, here's the thing. Listen. Story writing wise, ugh. All I can think is, why is the world this way in this story? Why have we chosen to make some of the characters pro-eugenics for other races? Basically, and what is the theme and the messaging behind this story? What is the point? What are they trying to get at? Because right now it just feels like the authors were just like absurd role-playing or something, and they turned that into a story. Roleplay and whoever got Jane decided they were going to go all random left field, be fascist. Nothing in this story feels like it has a purpose. Nothing feels like it's building to any sort of point. And also, Gamzee's just like now figuring out Jane's stance on eugenics. It's been months, right? And then I realized they were gonna fuck. And then it also mentions like, okay, well, if they didn't have troll eugenics, the troll population would outnumber humans at thousands or millions to one. The infrastructure would not be able to keep pace. And I wrote, why are we designing society around a human baseline, and why would trolls not be able to establish their own governing body and systems that serve them?
Yeah, like there's an entire world, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a whole planet, but like we're doing the thing where there's just, huh?
Yeah. Is Earth the same? Is Earth C the same size as Earth?
Yeah, because they just took a different Earth, right? I'm pretty sure they just took the Alpha Kid Earth and got rid of all the water, and I could be wrong, but they took one of the actual planets that they already had and used that as Earth. So that is just Earth.
Yeah. And then Jane says, but when you've proven that you can coexist in a harmonious society, like within 100 or 200 years, then blah, 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 maybe it won't matter that there are more trolls than humans. And I'm just like, I hate this. Like, when you've proven as a species that you have the right to procreate, then Jane calls Gamzee a literal insect clown face. Gamzee starts talking about human moo juice. I wrote, I hate this. He basically, yeah, I just don't even want to read any of this. It's so gross.
That's fair. So I did also start off with like the, hey, Gamzee's sticking up. Gamzee's making reasonable points. And from Jane's perspective, he's making dumb points. And he would only be this dumb if he were trying to hate fuck. Which they do hate fuck. But I don't think that that's the only reason. I think that's just Jane's framing of it. I again, like, this is a 17-year-old. Yes, he's probably gonna do dumb, horny shit to hate fuck, right? But also, like, he is 17. And he is, like, pushing back against the things Jane is saying with reasonable points, right? That's the thing. He's not just saying dumb shit to make her mad, like she's saying he is. They could have had him just say the most ridiculous shit, because they've been doing that all fucking epilogue so far, is making him say dumb shit to make fun of Gamzee fans. But he has very reasonable points throughout most of this, you know, with some dumb shit filtered in. But it makes Jane so mad that she wants to hate fuck him. And I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both, right? At one point she brings up that, like, he was, like, a murder clown who, like, murdered half his friends or something. But it's like, Gamzee murdered 2 people, which isn't good, right? But Airden murdered 2.5 people, and 1 got better. Vriska murdered 2 people, 1 got better. Like, that's kind of the society. Like, I'm not saying it's a good society or excuses the murder, but Gamzee didn't murder significantly more people than other characters did, one of which got a baby named after her, right?
Yeah.
Like,
which, speaking of, apparently Jake, Gamzee, and Jane have a baby Tavros now as well.
Yeah, it's like, you were just cursing that kid to have the worst life on the planet. Vriska, naming a baby Vriska makes way more sense than naming a baby Tavros, especially after a baby is already named Vriska, right? Like, this is not being named Tavros in a vacuum. This is a kid being named Tavros with the knowledge of a Vriska existing.
This is
they said, let me fuck up this kid in every way possible.
It's like when straight couples are like, they see 2 babies, like a boy and a girl, and you're like, oh, is that your little boyfriend? But then this is gonna be like, oh, are you guys like, I don't know if they had an official Vriska Travers relationship, but are you guys like in hate with each other? Aww.
That's the thing. I could actually go off on a thing about, like, Tavros and Vriska, how they were not kismesses, and, like, that is not what either of them were angling for. Tavros got confused on that point. I think Vriska got confused on that point because they were 13. But, like, I think a lot of it was, like, Vriska going for what she thought was Kismesos or what she thought was matesbridgeship. And I'm leaning towards the latter because a lot of what she was doing was doing what her ancestor did. And her ancestor was matesbrits with Tavros's ancestor. And, like, her breaking point is that she did not make Tavros kiss her. And that is whenever she cut away from what her ancestor was doing. And that was the first attempt at Vriska growth that had to be taken back a few steps because Vriska's not allowed to grow as a person because the narrative needs her to be a piece of shit. And in some way, she does get a little bit better, but anytime she gets too much better, she has to be knocked down a few pegs.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought about it more, and I think Tavros and Vriska would make the most unhealthy Morale ship you have ever seen, and that is the only way I can ship them from now on. But, yeah, and, like, one of the worst parts about, like, the whole hate fucking that's about to happen, besides the fact that this is a 17-year-old who's being groomed, is that Jake and baby Tavros are sitting right there.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just so weird, and, like, Jake ends up leaving, but he can still hear the honks echoing, like, no matter where he goes.
Yeah. I just wrote, I hate this a lot, and why was this written? I like copy-pasted it in a light gray, so it's less likely to accidentally read through these parts, but it's just a lot, and a lot of honking throughout the halls.
Yeah. Okay,
I did write something here, let's see. Jake talks to Jade on the phone. Okay, they were talking about, like, possibly having babies, and the dog genes aren't getting in the way, and something about, like, they couldn't have an ectobiological baby, or they could, but they're not interested in it. Jay said, we're not interested in having a kid with ectobiology, and I'm like, dang, Jade, want to complete that sentence to my infertile ass?
Yeah.
I'd have an ectobiological baby.
It's literally the merging of your genes together without, like, someone being pregnant about it.
Yeah.
So, did you catch on what Jade was saying here and why she couldn't have a baby?
So, I mean, you mentioned it at the start of the episode.
That's true.
I feel like it wasn't obvious. Because at first I was writing, okay, well, she said, like, Dave wouldn't be the dad. I was like, Carcat would be the dad? And she said, Carcat wouldn't be the dad. I just kind of went on from there.
I think you just have to be very online to pick up what was being put down here. Which most of the Homestuck fandom is, right? But yeah, no, she, whenever she merged with Beck, she now canonically has a doggy dick. And that is what is being referenced here, where she can't have a kid with Dave because she no longer has the bits for it. And are thinking about using Rose as a surrogate mom. Because, again, you can't use ectobiology. Someone has to be having the baby. But, I get a little frustrated with Jade here. Because, like, Jake is trying to, like, talk to her about stuff. And sure, she asked if everything's okay. And he says yes, because it's Jake. And he either, like, talks about his feelings to the point of overriding everyone, or, like, refuses to acknowledge things are wrong because he can't either conceptualize things are wrong, or just doesn't, like, he doesn't want to admit things are wrong. That's a very potentially bad summary of, like, Jake. I'm sure the Jake fans are going to come for me. But as far as, like, especially being, like, written here, and Jade, we find out later, like, again, this was after a time skip again, so maybe she didn't realize it at this point, but, like, she knows, at least at some point, that he is in an abusive relationship, and he is, like, reaching out to her, needing to talk to someone, and she is there for a little bit just to have the conversation so the reader, if they are online enough, can know that she has a doggy dick now, and then fucks off before offering Jake any, social support, like any socialization outside of his terrible wife and her terrible minor boyfriend and his baby. And
it's not like it's a secret, because this is brought up by other characters as well. Like, they know.
Yeah, since a time skip happens again, then I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt that maybe she didn't know at this point, and they figure it out in the time skip. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that they know by this point. There's no way they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is where they talk about it, I think. Because it's Jade, Karkat, Dave Time. John has a mustache now, and they find him extra hot, but no homo,
and
obviously.
a chiseled jawline. We need to Photoshop the Chad meme guy and just make him look like John.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put Karkat mentions the new administration is cracking down on certain kinds of interspecies adoption laws, and I put, oh, I sure do love politics in this story.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing that Rose and Kanaya adopted Vriska before, Yeah.
And that, also reflects just, so, my husband's Indian, I'm white, he's Hindu, and then there's all these laws, against non-Christians adopting, so it's, just a very frivolous kind of, I don't know, injection of politics that don't seem to go anywhere.
Yeah, they're definitely, performing politics and trying to, say, look at these politics, but they're not really doing anything with them.
They're just a backdrop, but also talked about very annoyingly.
Yeah. Oh, it was not allowed to adopt human babies, so I guess, adopting Vriska was okay.
Oh, yes. I can see how that would also be mirrored in current society as well.
Yeah. Dave says some fucked up shit about his childhood, and Jade and Karkat share a quiet look that apparently happens all the time because Dave had a fucked up childhood. John has straight up said that Jane raped Jake, and apparently that's just a thing people know. And I can't tell if they're talking about the first time whenever she got him drunk, or if this has been a repeated occurrence, which is why everyone knows it's a thing. Yeah. Neither option's good.
I had assumed it was the first time or something.
Yeah.
And even then, if they were aware enough and angry enough about it to use the word rape,
yeah,
I would figure that they would reach out to Jake.
But it's the Candy timeline. No one can reach out to anyone about anything. Really, I don't even know if this is just a Candy timeline thing. I'd have to go read Meet again to remember that. So I guess we'll figure that out. But that's what the past 7 years have been up until this point. Also, right, is no one can reach out to anyone about anything, which is how they all wound up in this mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and Jade, I got so mad at this. Jade, I can't save him because people won't get out of their bad relationship until it's their idea. Fuck off, Jade. People can't get out of bad relationships if they don't have a social support network. Jake has a baby. His wife is extremely politically powerful. He doesn't have a support network. Dirk is dead, and he didn't really have anyone else, and he barely had Dirk. And you just want him to figure out that his relationship is bad and leave, and if he's not leaving, that's proof that he's not ready to leave. Fuck off. I hate that so much, and I hate that it is not contested by anyone, right? That is the thing. It's people are allowed to have, characters in stories are allowed to have bad opinions, right? They're allowed to say bad things and do bad things, but it needs to be clear on even the most subtle level that the author is aware that this is not true, right? That the author is aware that this is a bad thing. And I just don't know that that's the case.
Her take would make sense if it was a couple teenagers on again, off again, dysfunction.
Right.
Cause sometimes it is hard to you can't break up a teenager when they think they're
exactly
in love with the love of their life. But do the authors have no knowledge of how challenging it is to leave a domestic abuse situation and the risks involved with that?
Especially since, he got fucking gaslit that he wasn't raped and he actually wanted to be in this relationship, right? He did not want this for himself, and Jane convinced him that he did. So...
And if you're isolated and alone, which is also alienating as a tactic of also domestic abusers.
Yeah.
Then where you're just what do I do? I have nowhere to go and no one to rely on, and I guess this is what I have.
Right, he tried reaching out to Jade, and Jade was busy after talking about her shit. Yeah. And no one wants to go over to his place because Jane and Gamzee are there and no one wants to fuck with them. So yes, he has a toddler that he is basically solely taking care of from everything we've seen so far. And he can't fucking leave. And I'm just so mad at this Jade line. I really hope that later down the line, someone like contests it. But the fact that no one did in this situation, like Dave knows that like he didn't realize that he was being abused by his brother for his entire life until he was like 13 or 14 or whenever it happened while he was on the Meteor and started talking about it more, right? Like he should know that it's not that simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then just like coming from the person who like just like did not recognize the attempt of him to like reach out to other people is I'm so mad.
And in Homestuck proper, they spent so much time just talking about their problems.
Yeah, well, I guess Jade in the retconned, like now in the timeline post retcon, like was alone on a ship for 3 years. I mean, like Nana Sprite was there, but like was basically alone on the ship for 3 years. So I guess she didn't get to talk about her problems. And I guess they just stopped talking about their problems once canon ended and they entered Earthsea, because for 7 years no one has talked about their problems. I'm so mad. I'm so mad about every decision in this. Like, because you're right, they did talk about their problems all the time. Even, like, John started talking about his problems sometimes. He just kept getting distracted by the big things he had to do. But for 7 years, they just stopped doing it. They stopped having any inner reflection, and they just, like, regressed.
And just design-wise with this story, like, if it wasn't such a long time span, if this was, like, immediately after, that would even make more sense.
Right.
We just went through a bunch of trauma, but no, it's been 7 years.
Yeah, that is so much my opinion about the epilogues. If this happened even like a year or two after, it could be more believable. But they wanted to age these characters up, so some things would make more sense. And I don't know, when they wanted to like catch up to the timeline of how how old they would be, just like how we skipped 3 years in Homestuck because we were catching up to where it's like, okay, well, they were 13 here. And now if they caught up, if they were aging along with how long the story's been going, they would be 16 now. So now they had to age up to 23 or whatever at the start of the epilogues because it had been that long since Homestuck ended. So if they were aging along with our time span, then they would be 23 now. And so that's what happened there. Is I assume the only reason they are this old. Because yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for 7 years to have gone by without them fucking working any of this out.
Yeah, and also the 7 years, like, that's before the meat candy decision, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's before the meat candy decision. Anyway, stuff falls out of a weird space-time hole, and it is a 16-year-old dead Jade with a piece of, like, reality lodged in her chest very gruesomely.
Yeah. Did we read this part in Meat? Like, I feel like we might have read this part.
No, we stopped before we got to this part.
Okay, because I remember there was, like, some fighting going on, but...
Yeah, I think we stopped before we figured out how the fighting was going. I think we stopped whenever Vriska had opened the chest, and we know that everyone came out of that chest, but then Vriska got sucked into a black hole, and so since Vriska was gone, we didn't see what happened.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it was, because Vriska also got hit with a piece of, like, unreality or whatever.
Yeah. So dead teen Jade.
Yeah, chapter 20. We have Jade, Karkat, Dave, Jane, Jake, John, the whole crew.
Yep. At the hospital, I think, right?
No, they're at Jane's house, because Jane has the power to revive people, so she's trying to revive dead Jade. The narrator is poking at the obvious romantic/sexual tension between Dave and Karkat. Me realizing that this was a time skip because Tavros is a toddler now. Picnic pizza is actually a good idea. The worst poly group you've ever heard of is good for having picnic pizza. That is a win. One win on the worst triad you've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Actually not. I'm sure there's many way worse. I hear so many stories about like messy queer poly poly relationships that, like, this is nothing compared to some of them. Jane yells at Jake, and even Gamzee tells her to cool the fuck off. Like, you shouldn't yell at your mate sprit like that. Like, it's so weird that Gamzee is the reasonable one in these past 2 chapters. Like, the first one, like, was, like, for hate fucking at the end, but this one is just, like, there's no hate fucking involved here. He just says, don't fucking yell at your mate sprit. Like, when a 17-year-old troll juggalo is more mature than you, like, the narrator mentions the advantage Vriska as a troll has over Tavros as a human. I'm sure this is fine and not weird at all, because the narrator, like, mentions that Vriska can bite Tavros with her very sharp teeth versus Tavros's very dull teeth. That's fine. I'm sure this isn't, like, foreshadowing anything.
Oh, good.
Dead Jade has been deaded on a metaphysical level that Jane's healing can't fix, except not entirely dead. Alive Jade presumes this is, like, only one version of Jade can be in existence at the same time, kind of like how John and Dave Sprite had to explode because John and Dave Sprite were coming from the retcon timeline. Roxy is way too fucking happy about there being a dead body they can have a funeral about.
Yeah. Alright, they're gonna have a bash and a good soiree.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Roxy brought up Callie for planning committee, and I was like, oh, I forgot Callie was even around.
Yeah. I feel like Roxy might have too until this very moment, but who knows? But, because Callie sure hasn't been mentioned. But of course we also been, like, more from the perspective of people who do not care as much about Callie. But, also, I've been watching Prosy D's playthrough of Danganronpa 2 with Dami. I've already seen it before, but this is Dami's first time. So all I can think of is, like, Roxy being so into the silver lining of someone died, but we get to have a funeral, and, like, so many good things happened at the last funeral that is gonna happen again. Yes. We're gonna bring each other together. It's very Nagito core of hope. We must have despair so hope can overcome it to have stronger hope. Roxy's Nagito, I guess. I guess that's what we're saying. I guess...
You want to hear something really kind of fucked up?
Go for it, yes, please.
So, in 2024, my cousin and I both lost our grandmothers. So we had a family gathering for her grandmother. And we were all like, this is nice to see the family again. Hope we get to meet again under less sad circumstances. Then my mom died.
Oh, oof.
Yeah.
Oh, oof.
Yeah. Well, I was like, this was so nice.
Yeah.
Nothing like a funeral. Don't jinx it. Don't wish for more funerals.
Yeah, that is a little bit of what Roxy's doing.
Mm.
But yeah, so Roxy's Nagito. And is a centrist because she brings up political stuff with the trolls because she is being an idiot, I guess. And so, because it's Jane and Kanaya there. And Roxy says politics should never get between friends because Roxy is a fucking centrist.
Very fucking neoliberal. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking to Dami about this, and she's like, that's actually the most canonical thing Roxy has done in this. Because, like, the thing about the Alpha Kids is they are all the worst to each other, and they all enable each other to be the worst. But they were also 16-year-olds. So you'd hope that they would have grown out of that, but they can't have that sort of character growth in this. So yeah, Roxy exists to enable Jane and just, like, overlook any, like, really bad shit she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's a fucking neoliberal, centrist-ass. Politics shouldn't get in the way between friends, even though one friend is literally trying to do eugenics on your other friends.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Karkat going off, and Roxy saying no one acts like that because she apparently doesn't know anything that's happening at all, ever. Karkat goes on more rants, like really justified Karkat rants, and makes it clear that he's done with Gamzee because Gamzee tries to calm him down or something, and he's like, fuck you, fuck no. And it's like, It's not that Karkat's wrong for this, but he is a 24-year-old yelling at his 17-year-old friend, right? Like, they used to be the same age, and now Gamzee is here with his cool adult, like, friend who he was Moriel's with, and Karkat's like, no, fuck you, fuck off. basically I'm trying to make you be sympathetic for Gamzee, I guess is what I'm doing. It's really hard to be sympathetic for Epilogue Gamzee. I think these might be the only few chapters in which you can do so.
Yeah. You can be a terrible person or a very annoying young man, but still be against eugenics.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think just really remembering that he's 17 years old in this, 16 at the start, is really just changing my entire perspective on Gamzee in the Candy timeline, right? Like,
I do have more sympathy for him because, yes, he is a child at this point.
Yeah, like it's kind of like you have to remember in Homestuck proper that like these kids are 13, these kids are 16. Like so much of what they're doing makes more sense like within that context, or is more tragic within that context. Like Murder Stuck is bad and terrible, right? But they are 13-year-olds who grew up on the murder planet. But also like the narrative kind of wants you to forget that a lot of the time until it wants to remind you to make you feel bad about the way you thought about things before, kind of like with Dave's abuse. Dave was not abused at the beginning of the comic. He was in a cartoon. He was doing cartoon character stuff. But at the end of the comic, what happened at the beginning was abuse. But I don't think they ever bring up the fact that Gamzee is currently 17. Karkat tells everyone to fuck off, and he himself fucks off, and Dave tries to stop him, but Dave is also one of the people who needs to fuck off. Jade blames Dave for some reason, asking what he said to Karkat. Like, I'm sorry. What? This is Jane's fault, and Roxy's fault, and, you know, generally everyone's fault for not, like, standing up for troll rights. I mean, Kanaya is probably the only one without real fault here. Apparently John thinks that if he were braver, he would have backed Karkat up. Yeah, you should have, John, because you know, this all sucks and you just are too passive right now. And Roxy's still psyched about having a funeral and ropes Jake and Calliope into it.
Yay.
Yeah. And then the last chapter, the funeral.
Yep, we get another funeral. My first note is just, they say Gamzee smells like wet dog, so why is anyone having sexual relations with him?
He just has to be the most gross at all times, and it's just like Jane has to be the worst, and what can be even worse than having sex with a juggalo troll who smells like wet dog, and it's just lewd and gross. I go on a weird tangent for a bit about the weight and the ability to lift Jade's coffin. I assume that John and Jake are supposed to be stronger, probably also because of God tier stuff, I don't know, but also like coffins, whether or not something heavy is inside of them, are heavy by default. Coffins are heavy unless you are getting a non-traditional coffin, I guess, or a very, very old traditional
like
coffin.
A PVC coffin or something.
Right. But like, what we think of as coffins when we go to a funeral home, a regular, normal coffin is fucking heavy no matter who's in it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I know they're trying to draw attention to like, it is so tragic because this Jade is so young, so her coffin is light. But that's not true. I don't know. I'm weirdly nitpicky about that one.
Lighter than Dirk's coffin, I guess.
Yeah, Dirk also had
all his weapons and
his weapons in there. He was also buried with all of his swords. Which would make that much heavier.
Yeah.
Everyone is there and spread out. Roxy and Calliope are the only ones having a good time. Even Karkat is there, but is sitting very apart from everyone else.
Yeah.
Jake is talking to John, because John's, like, not happy with this whole, like, funeral thing, and Jake says, but it's better for a man to just let his wife do whatever she wants. I promise you'll experience less pain that way, old boy. Jake is a deeply abused man. Like, you know, he's playing off the joke of, like, happy wife, happy life type shit, but he's in an abusive relationship. He is abused. Less pain to just do what his wife wants. He's abused.
Yeah. Cue the, at least she doesn't hit me.
Yeah. Oh my god. you noted this as well. Callie still, like, obviously has the hots for Roxy, and John notices and is like, about it. And I think they should just be poly. Like,
Everyone else is.
Well, I mean, yeah, kinda. But yeah, like, you shouldn't have to hide your text to Rezi, especially since you don't realize you're flirting yet.
Just, like, societally, historically, I mean, a lot of monogamy is about controlling bodies and the passing on of genes, and that doesn't exist here except for troll genes, but, you know.
Yeah, but, like, troll genes inherently, like, need polyamory. Sure, a very specific type of polyamory that you can still be, like, queer about. But, I don't know, it's so much. I get that John and, like, the original, like, kids would still have this societal understanding of, like, monogamy, like, instilled into their genes, but, like, society shouldn't by this point, right? I don't know. I just think they should be poly. I think it shouldn't just be so weird for John to eventually realize he's flirting with Terezi and Terezi's flirting with him, and for Callie to still be able to smooch Roxy. I think it should be fine, and I don't know, like, I have a hard time understanding monogamous people. Besides, like, I get if, like, you personally just, like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm just not interested in that.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like, I don't got time or energy.
I don't have time for that, right? Like, fucking a lot of poly people have to have shared Google calendars to see when everyone's free to do what. It's extremely funny. And I get if, like, you just aren't interested in having more than one partner or whatever. I don't understand limiting it for, I don't know. I don't mean to go off on a whole, like, poly versus, like, monogamy talk, because I know I would not have the space here to go through it in, like, enough, like, detail and nuance, and I will say some shit that, like, yes, if you break it down, like, I'm not entirely, like, correct about this, and I don't entirely agree with the thing I said, because it's a nuanced topic. But also, I think so many problems would just be solved if people were, if polyamorous were at least more socially acceptable, or, like, socially understood as a thing, instead of, like, this weird, terrible thing that, like, it's still considered, like, an excuse to cheat on partners. Like,
yeah, that kind of leads into, like, I hate the term ethical.
Oh my god.
Non-monogamy.
Yeah, ethical polyamory is such a dumb fucking term.
Yeah.
That's called just relationships, right? Like, we don't say ethical monogamy, right? Yeah. Like, because I think if we want to pull that, there's a lot of unethical monogamy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that's just not, like, it's I agree. That's so dumb. Yeah, it's not ethical polyamory. What were you saying it was?
Ethical non-monogamy is what ethical I usually hear.
Non-monogamy. Yeah, that's right, because it does get shortened to E and M. It's dumb, and I refuse to use that term. I don't do anything ethical in my life. I don't know. I refuse to ascribe ethics to my relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know. I don't need to get on a whole cheating tangent here, but, like, I don't know, unethical, cheating as unethical feels like a weird way to describe it. Like, it's a break in trust in a relationship. I don't know. I think, like, people ascribe ethics to cheating when that is not always,
I
don't know.
It's a betrayal in trust, like, cheating is so, like, an agreement.
Yeah. Different than what people, like, act like it is.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it's usually, like, a hidden thing, and
yeah.
And lying, and, like, that's kind of the part, you know?
Right, exactly. And, like, sometimes it is a self-sabotaging mistake. Sometimes it is a first attempt to escape a very bad relationship, right? Not to, like, excuse the break in trust, but, like, sometimes cheating happens because they are in a shitty relationship. And, again, I don't know. Going off on this tangent, that's nuance, that I would have to have multiple podcast episodes to cover. It's just, like, this is such a thing in this right now, with John being weird about how Callie is treating Roxy, and John being weird about how he's texting to Rezi, and it's like, just understand polyamory is a thing. And it doesn't have to be the two examples of polyamory we have in here so far, which are Jade and Jane. Cause fuck poly people, I guess. Anyway, because, like, even Kanaya is content with being monogamous, and, like, she is from a polyamorous, like, society. It's so dumb. They're so weird about polyamory in this. Anyway, We'll see how much Dummy ends up cutting out because it was a long. Anyway, things get a lot better because Aradia and Solik show up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Aradia said, "We missed the first corpse party. We're here for this one." Karkat is angry, shouting in the way that shows he cares because he didn't know that they still even existed or were alive. We don't know how old they are. I think they might be the same age as everyone else. I think they've just been hanging around the planet doing whatever they want, but I don't know right now if that is the case. They might just be like flipping to where Terezi is, where like 6 months was a day for her. Or I don't know. I don't know how old they are. Because I don't know if like they were aging in tandem before the Candy epilogue started. I feel like they were. I don't know. We'll have to check back in with that in Meat. I think they covered a little bit more in Meat. I could be wrong. They're catching up with Gamzee, seeing how Gamzee's doing. Aradia agrees that Jane is hot, which is by Aradia, hell yeah. Aradia wants to see the corpse. Let Aradia see the corpse. Sorry, Jade. Sorry, Jade. This is kind of traumatic. Sorry, Jade.
Yeah.
Because they weren't able to get the shard of reality out of her chest, so it is still gory. And I go back to my coffin weight nitpicking because apparently it is an effort to get the lid off, which it might have just been stuck on there really hard. I don't know why the coffin weight is bugging me so much.
I mean, I usually close my coffins with the intention of not opening them back up.
It's true. And, like, then they have the most homestuck, good conversation that they have had in the epilogue so far and might have, like, ever have, where everyone roasts each other about being bad at consoling people because Dave tries to console Jade and does a very bad job of it, and then everyone roasts Rose for being bad at consoling people, and it's so fucking funny. Like, just the four... actually, it's not just the four kids, because Kanaya is also there, but, like, just, like, some of the kids just talking to each other about, like, just roasting each other and chatting as though, like, they are not currently at a funeral, or, like, whatever, they are, but, like, it's handling it the normal Homestuck way of, like, I don't know, this is the most classically Homestuck good conversation we have had in here so far, and it is... a bright light in this darkness. Aradia and Solik showed up and made everything better for a few minutes. And of course, Jane pops in to make it political and xenophobic and says Karkat is the one making it political, and she just sucks. She sucks. Calliope yells at them because how dare they ignore the beautiful thing her not girlfriend is trying to do. Roxy gives a big, beautiful speech about how I guess we grow apart for normal reasons, and also maybe because of political reasons. I don't know, I'm a centrist. And also maybe death is good because Dirk dying means I marry John, which is so fucked up of her to say.
Yeah.
Roxy and Dirk were best friends. Roxy and Dirk were best friends. Roxy and Dirk were best friends. Like, to the point that she was so obsessed with him, she sexually harassed him.
Yeah, he was out of the way, and it allowed me the opportunity to exploit this boy man.
Yeah, it's so much. It's so much. Funerals are good because when Dirk died, I married John. Okay, and then Roxy goes into labor. John starts carrying Roxy off to the hospital. Calliope tries going along with, but then the corpse bolts upright.
I don't know. Sorry, also, before I was thinking of Jane and Jake, not Roxy and John.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
Sorry.
Yeah, all good. I'm like, I don't think that, whatever. I just let it go. But, yeah, no, Dirk being gone did get Jane to fuck Jake, though, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's what my brain was at.
Yeah, no, that's true. They're both true. Dirk being gone means that the Prospect boys were rushed into marriage. And one much less consensually than the other. Alt Calliope has now possessed Jade's dead body. And Calliope runs off screaming, and no one follows after her, because fuck her, I guess. Alt Calliope is super mean to Jake for no reason, because Jake can't win. Jake takes the L every single time. Everyone hates Jake. And she says, I have entered this body to protect your world. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, cliffhanger again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, how much of a cliffhanger it is if the next one is literally there. It's not like the prologue was released and then all of the epilogues were released, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm making fun. I really don't care that much about a cliffhanger. Let's just read the next chapter. I do that all the time. It's whatever. But I'm just being a hater to be a hater.
Yeah.
So this sucks.
So then is John's decision for Candy gonna not matter at all? Because then will Alt Calliope fix it? Or they thought Alt Vriska, or just thought Vriska fixed it, or whatever else.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. Yeah. I honestly do forget a lot of the details about this, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Things will continue to happen. I said this. I think I said this at the beginning. I know I said it to you before the call. I forget if I said it again at the beginning, but I'll say it again here, which for the second or third time. I really thought that I would read these and remember why I liked the epilogues the first time I read them. I really thought that all my issues with them that cropped up because the fandom was the fucking worst. Especially, we haven't got into it fully yet because we haven't finished reading Meat, but you can already get a glimpse of why people might not like Dirk, and it only gets worse from there for Dirk. And people used him to be transandrophobic. They would say shit like, of course, Dirk is a trans man. He's the fucking worst. Of course, trans men transmascs like Dirk because he's the fucking worst and they're the fucking worst. It was a terrible time.
I don't understand that hate.
Yeah, again, we'll get more into it in Meat, and I think they are still wrong for most of the points they bring up. But yeah, no, it was a bad time to be a Dirk fan. It was a bad time to be a Jane and Gamzee fan. Obviously I was a Dirk fan, so I remember most of the Dirk shit that happens, but I thought that, I'm only bringing that up to my point of, I thought it was the discourse, right? The fandom discourse that made me have such a negative view of the epilogues, and that when I read them again 6 years later, I could find what I enjoyed about them originally, because I did originally enjoy the epilogues, but I was just looking at it with rose-tinted glasses, right? I just saw a new Homestuck thing, and I ate that shit up, even though it was shit. I am so sorry to the epilogue likers that may or may not be listening. You are allowed to have your own opinions about this. I just think that if you like stuff out of this, it is because you have cherry-picked it to hell and back. You have scraped whatever good things exist in here and just washed away all the bad shit. I think you are a stronger person than me. I think you are a stronger person than Hussey. I think you have prevailed where no man can prevail to find good things in this pile of trash. It's not even just the character decisions though, right? That's a huge part, but you can just say that my interpretation of the characters aren't the real interpretation, because clearly the author wrote this, the person who wrote the characters, and they know the characters better, but the writing is bad. Yeah. The writing is bad, the storytelling is bad, the themes are bad.
I think there is a way you could make it so that everyone's done this weird change and it's uncanny and no one's actually confronting each other. There is a good way to do that, I think, and this is not well done.
Yeah, if you were good at writing, you could turn this into something interesting, right? But it's something bad, it has, I don't even want to say bad themes, because it doesn't know what its themes are. It is throwing things at you, and you can get the themes out of them if you want. But it's just bad. It is bad on every level. It is doing things for shock value. It is doing things to be reader hostile, and not in a way that then further makes sense for the story and the characters. It is making fun of things that don't exist in the fandom that we just kind of have to try to make sense from. It's I guess they're making fun of this general fandom trope that doesn't necessarily make sense in this, unless I'm missing something entirely. They just do a lot of gross shit to make people gross and to do gross things and to do bad things. And I will never forget fucking one of the authors saying is like, yeah, sometimes your friend just ends up a fascist. And I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, I don't, like, I guess that could be true, but I just really don't think the people on average have high school friends that turn out to be fascists that you stay friends with the whole time and talk to the whole time. And
like, I feel like you would be calling them out once they're heading in that direction.
Or not be friends with them.
Friends. Yeah.
Like, I think that your friend turns into a fascist are people that you find on Facebook 5 years later and like, oh shit, they took a bad turn, and not like, I am slowly watching this person descend into racism and fascism and eugenics. Mm-hmm. Like, that is not how it works. If your friend turns out to be fascist, it is not you watching them do it while staying friends with them, you know?
Yeah.
Unless you are also a fascist or a centrist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like kind of raised in the way of like, oh, we don't talk about politics. So you just kind of like let everything slide.
Yeah.
Which is not healthy and not a good way to have like a deep friendship.
Exactly. Which like none of these people are like deep friends, right? Like they all are so disconnected from each other. Like even the people who live together are disconnected from each other. Like the closest we get is Rose and Kanaya, except no, they were also disconnected from each other because of Rose's condition that was getting worse and worse and worse until the Candy epilogues fixed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they weren't that close together. Like everyone in this fucking thing are disconnected, not on the same wavelength, not talking to each other, not confronting anything. And they were in a stagnant state until we looked in. And it's so funny because like in Hussey's like thing about the epilogues after like a few months after the epilogues came out, he had said that the epilogues are what you get for looking in to what happens in the happily ever after. They're what you get whenever you see what happens in the happily ever after, because like they could have just been happy, but you looked in and things are bad now because in order to have a story, conflict has to happen. So things have to go bad, which I said before isn't true. That's not inherently how all stories work. You're just bad at every time I learn more about Hussey's philosophy of storytelling, the more I realize he's full of shit and I like Homestuck anyway. But,
maybe the Homestuck is the friends we made along the way.
Right. But like, that's not what we're seeing. I mean, that's literally Homestuck though, right? That's like both the comic and like the fandom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially now, fuck Hussey forever and a half. Like if there are no Hussey haters, then I am dead. But the thing is like things were not happily ever after by the time we're looking into this, right? Things were fucking terrible. And we looked into this to see how fucking terrible things were. At best, they were stagnant and regressing. At worst, they were, like, worse in ways that don't make sense for them to be worse. They like, it's not like everything was going really well, and then when we looked in, bad shit started happening to turn everyone into this, right? That would be compelling. That would be a compelling look on what it means to be relevant and to be an epilogue, is that things were going really well, but as soon as we started reading, everything went to shit. But that's not what happened here. Everything was already shit, and it just keeps getting worse.
Mm.
It's not fun to read. It's not, I don't know. I don't know how many times I need to say it's not written well, so I'm not just like, which I guess is also like a subjective opinion, but like,
well, like, what are we getting out of it? Like, as far as, we're not really thinking, oh, new, groundbreaking thoughts. I'm just like, wow, what is this supposed to mean? Wow, why did they do this?
They massacred my boy.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone gets out of this with a character they like being okay. Like, Karkat has some good shit to say about troll rights, but he is in a no-homo relationship with Dave while dealing with Jade sexually harassing him for 7 years. Rose has to have a baby now, even though she was literally just thinking about how they'd have a baby years from now. She has to have a baby troll who is named after her wife's ex. Like the most toxic person you've ever met. Kanaya named a baby after her ex, who she had feelings for in the way that they weren't in a relationship with, and got over her and kind of told her to fuck off. And I guess didn't really tell her to fuck off, but like it was clearly like over her and like done with it, but like decided to name, like, not only get a baby without discussing it beforehand with Rose, but also name the baby Vriska, and like also has some good shit to say about troll rights, and especially like as the person who was the keeper of the mother grub, but is also like very passive about it if it's to the point where even Karkat tells her to fuck off, right? Like she's clearly just there to like maybe get in the newspapers about it, but not really do much of active anything about it, right? Like, and those are the characters who like have it the best. Like Dave's annoying as hell. Like I'm so glad we haven't heard him talk about the economy much at all in the past few chapters. Like that's the only good thing, or one of the few good things about this epilogue 4. And he is also very passive and docile, and like fucking went back in the closet for no reason. Like just decided that even though he was getting advice on how to come out to his friends for the past 7 years, he has stayed closeted, making like Karkat's life more miserable. Honestly, I think that if Dave had decided to not closet himself, they would be dating. I don't think Karkat has the same reservations as Dave, which I'm just making that up, right? Maybe there's stuff later that like confirms it, but yeah. Like everyone sucks. Like John probably is the best. He's passive mostly in the way that John is passive, but like you kind of would have hoped that he would have grown better in the past 7 years. But like it was notable that he left his fucking house, that multiple people commented that he left his house and then left it more than one day in a row. Like, so he's just been depressed for 7 years and no one's done anything about it. Like, everyone sucks. Like, Roxy and Callie were fine before John chose Candy, sorry. I don't know. And Callie is still kind of okay, except she's way too passive and just, like, lets herself get cucked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she has a cucking kink, in which case I'm not going to kink shame. But I don't know. Like, Jake is sympathetic, but in the ways that the narrative fucking hates him, right? Like, Jake is never allowed to have good things, no matter where he is, no matter which version of Jake. He gets the short end of the stick, and the narrative makes fun of him for it.
Yeah. There's, like, no thing that I wish would happen in the narrative. Or, I mean, the things that I wish would happen would be, like, just more world building. But, like, at this point, it's like, well, where's it going? Well, I don't really have a desire for anything. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they're roundabout trying to make you just not care. You're like just surrendering to the pointlessness.
Yeah. I mean, like, Hussey sucks at world building, right? Like, Alternia was basically just copy-pasted Earth shit, like Earth society, except, like, they were poly inherently, and they had to fuck to, or they would die. And, everyone could murder each other, right? Like, he had, like, some interesting world building bits in there, but otherwise, like, did not question the status quo, except for trolls are poly, and they don't have an understanding of human sexuality. Like, gay, bi, straight, like, they don't understand that. You just like who you like. Like, he has said in a forum post, or, you know, not a forum post, but like in an Ask thing, they've said that they confirm that Kanai is a lesbian, but it's like preferring blondes. It's not like a thing, right? And that's like the most world building they've really done, except for like a little bit with Before Us. And so in this, it makes complete sense that, of course, humans would just have dominance, and of course, it would just be a copy and paste of our world, except with other species in here. And of course they would repress or oppress the trolls for centuries, even though Jane wasn't there being a fascist to enforce it. Like, of course they just have all of the problems that our world had just pasted onto here with no and of course economy is a big talk. Right, no creativity, no curiosity, no wondering what things would be like if the situation was different, like under these different circumstances. And, like, again, the economy talk is like Dave has to talk about the economy because it's Obama. He has to be obsessed with Obama, but they can't fucking because I was trying to say is like they canonically live in a post-scarcity society, but they don't deal with what that would mean for the economy. They just say, why is Dave obsessed with the economy? Why does Jane go to all these business classes to get fake degrees about the economy? When they live in a post-scarcity economy, what economy still exists? Let's examine that. Let's examine how things work in a post-scarcity economy. Why does Jake have a huge mansion? Where, like, who gets the more money? Can anyone just get a mansion? Is this, like, you know, it wants to talk about the economy, but not actually investigate anything about it, right? Like, it wants to talk about politics, but not investigate exactly how that works. Except, of course, the humans are in control and we're gonna oppress the trolls because we're doing fantasy racism. Right? And they're doing it Zootopia style, where it's like they're the predators, the people who have known to be violent are being oppressed because they're known to be violent. Like, they're doing the bad, they're doing the fucking Dragon Age, mages are dangerous and they're the oppressed class, right? They are doing the bad fantasy racism.
Yeah.
And they're not saying anything with it, except for, look, Jane's a fascist, and people are centrists, and Karkat's mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's not even, like, an interesting narrative about surviving in this style of politic, either. It's...
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's kind of doing their life, but there's not really commentary of, like, you know, I'm worried about this and this, politics affecting me, actually, besides just being mad that in general, my species can't have babies, or like no personal stakes, I guess.
Yeah, just Jade bringing up that they'd want to adopt a human baby, and Karkat being like, "I would not be able to do that," is like the closest we get. Which I will say, they might do some more of that later in Candy. I don't remember them doing it, but I could be wrong. Because I could just be mad at the epilogues and misremembering. Stuff that they do later with this, but we do still have plenty of Candy left to go, so there is room for them to do stuff with this. Yeah. I just don't think they do. There's nothing that has happened so far that makes me think they're gonna do that, you know? Last time was a big angry rant about how they handle suicide badly, which last two, I forget if I told you, Moosie, but we decided to split that up into two parts because it's so fucking long. And this one isn't nearly as long, but it's just a different big angry rant, and I hate that. There are so many times where I just don't do episode ideas because I don't like doing big angry rants. I know I've posted a couple like big angry rant, like one-off bonus episodes about stuff because I do sometimes get mad enough I have to say something. But I generally don't like being that person. I don't like people coming here and just negativity. You know, I found the one good thing I liked in here. Aradia and Solik showed up, and the kids had a good conversation that sounded like original Homestuck. I don't know. It's just not good.
Yeah. There's not anything that makes you excited to kind of move forward, or, you know.
Yeah. Even this cliffhanger, I've entered this body to protect your world, is like...
Alright. So, why do you have to tell us about that? Bye.
From what? Like, I guess, like, the from what is supposed to be the cliffhanger that we're supposed to figure out what's going on, and maybe John's right, that there's still some weird shit out there, but I don't know. It's not... I don't know. Again, maybe meat is better with this. Maybe if we had stuck with meat instead of Candy, we would have been more hooked on stuff. I mean... You probably, because again, I've read this, so I've forgotten a lot of stuff, but I don't think, I don't know, I would be having different anchor rants. So, anyway, sorry for all of that. Again, I don't like being so negative, but it is what it is. These are my honest opinions about the epilogues, mostly removed from fandom discourse. I feel like I bring it up whenever it's relevant to stuff, but it's not influencing my opinions on what happens. I just like add another thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is Christmas time for us. I think you will be hearing this in March.
Oh dang.
If things are going as scheduled, maybe if we get enough of backlog, I'll bump it up or something, but I think you should be hearing this in March. So, hello from Christmas. I hope things are okay and that the first 3 months of 2026 weren't as bad as the first 3 months of 2025. and the other 9 months of 2025.
It's been a long year.
It's been a long year. So up next is Epilogue 5, with chapters 22 to 26. The next epilogues are 27, 28, 29, or 29. You said 29, 28. I assume that's 29, 38. I got confused.
Wait, Candy 22 to 26 for Epilogue 5?
Yeah, and then I said the next ones are 27, 28, and then 29
to yeah,
38.
Probably 38, yeah.
Yeah, so we might do both 5 and 6, just because those are short, and then 7 is going to be long.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. So I guess prepare if you guys are reading along. I've been very bad. If you guys are reading along, I've been very bad at telling you what we're going to read. I might like try to go back and like fix old episodes to say it, but we may or may not be reading both Epilogue 5 and 6, depending on how long epilogue they are, I guess. So I guess prepare for that if you still want to hang out and read along, even though I don't know. I hope this is I do sometimes like, listening to like YouTube essays about like things that are bad and hearing like good opinions on it. And I hope that I at least have like maybe good is too subjective, but like reasonable opinions, even if you disagree with me. I hope I at least have reasonable critiques on this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Moosie, where can people find you?
Moosade.com. MOOSADEE.com. That links to everything.
Yeah, and you can find all my shit on jaxiax.com. I am also on Blue Sky at jaxiax.com. I'm starting to be more active on Tumblr. Maybe I'll start putting a Tumblr link in here. I don't know how things are going to be in 3 months. Maybe I'll still be active on Tumblr. I know. I actually have made it. I'm not posting anything personal on this Tumblr account. I am posting my projects and basically nothing else, because I got banned twice. 2 of my accounts got banned back to back because I got my one terminated during the mass purge of trans accounts. And then like I made another account, and within like 2 months, that one got terminated as well, because it wasn't just a mass ban of trans accounts. It was people going after me and people posting about trans mask stuff and taboo stuff in fiction specifically that got me banned. So I am not doing anything personal on this Tumblr account. Jaxiax Projects, I think is what it's called. Maybe I'll post the link in maybe the links will start to be in the description again, because I don't want it to get terminated again. I want to be able to post on Tumblr because that's where a lot of Homestuck fans are, and I need to broaden my audience to Tumblr again. And I don't want to get terminated, so you will not see any personal thoughts on there besides what you hear in my podcasts.
Yay.
Sorry, I'm going off on another huge rant about fucking nothing to do with this, except it... Sorry. Yeah, I'm in a ranty mood. I got primed to rant because of the epilogues.
Yep.
I don't need to be primed. I'm always ready to rant. I will die on any hill. Except less fun than Brennan. Brennan Lee Mulligan. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Go check out Moosie's stuff. Go check out my stuff. I need to link to Pick Your Gender on jaxiax.com, but it's on itch.io.
Mm-hmm.
My username is Amberlyn. The game is called Pick Your Gender. I got $5 for it. Someone paid me $5. That's the first time I've been paid for a video game. It won first place in the game jam it was in. I'm very happy with it. I didn't mean to like plug it at the end of this, but I guess I did.
Gotta play indie games.
Gotta play indie games, and it's really short because it was made in... I had like a week and 3 days to make it, but I was making a different game and then realized that was way too big of a scope, so I actually made this in like 4 days. So it is short and free and works in your browser on itch.io. So, I don't know, check it out. Or not. I'm not your boss. I also have one about Pop-Tarts on there if you like Pop-Tarts better than reading about anti-trans masculinity. Anyway, we'll see you in a month. I don't know, maybe less than that. I'm trying to get some episodes edited that I can have out like in between these, so you're not waiting a month all the time and there's something more than just talking about the epilogues. But we'll see if I do that, because I don't have a time limit for it and I have ADHD, so it's hard. Anyway, see you in a month or less or more. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to Dami for composing the theme song and editing the episode. You can find more of her work at soundcloud.com/dominothief. Shout out to our Fakest Fan tier supporters, Danny the Spoonlord and Tezrak. You can become a supporter and receive early episodes and bonus content for as little as $1 a month over at ko-fi.com/jaxyax, or simply give a one-time tip. For information on and links to my other projects, head over to jaxyax.com. Thanks again for listening.